What's up, Dub Nation? Welcome into Warriors Today. We're going to have all the latest NBA draft rumors ready for you on today's show. But before I get into it, I want to make sure you subscribe to our new Warriors channel, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. But don't just subscribe. Don't be like those slackers that do it easy and just click the big red button. I want you to turn on your notifications as well, because we've got videos coming out all day, every single week. So you're going to want to make sure you subscribe, because the Warriors have got a crazy offseason coming up. So hit that subscribe button. Now let's get right into today's video. As everyone and their mother knows, the Golden State Warriors have the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. But what seems to be the newest report from Brian Windhorst is that the Warriors are fielding multiple trade offers to move down from that second overall pick. Now, one of the interesting things with the Golden State Warriors is that we really don't know who they're going to take. We've seen reports of, oh, they really like James Wiseman. Oh, they'll take Anthony Edwards if he falls. Oh, they'll take Lamelo Ball, who we'll talk about later if he falls. I've seen people say they'll take Deni Avdija at 2. I've seen people say they'll take Devin Vassell if they trade down. I've seen people say they'll trade down for Saddiq Bey. Every name that you can think of has popped up with the Golden State Warriors. But a trade down is very, very likely, according to Brian Windhorst. Now, here's what he said on The Jump. ESPN's Brian Windhorst said on Monday's edition of The Jump that Golden State has definitely had talks about moving down in the draft, which will take place on November 18th, which, by the way, will be live for on Chat Sports. He added that rival teams have offered a number of interesting packages to the organization, though at the moment, none of these potential deals have convinced them to part ways with the number 2 pick just yet. So we know that the trade offers are coming in. Brian Windhorst has officially reported that teams are making the call to Golden State about that second overall pick. So now you have to look at the rest of the lottery and see who's available and see who's calling them, because the Warriors are going to trade down potentially. And if they do trade down, they're not trading out of the lottery. So this is where it gets interesting. Number 1, the Timberwolves, just skip right past them. They don't even count. Number 3, the Charlotte Hornets. That's where things get interesting right away, is a team that they could call. Chicago Bulls really like Lamelo Ball, and he could be available at number 2. The Cavaliers, they're actually not looking to trade up. They haven't really been so much in those trade talks. I think they'll sit pretty at 5. The Hawks at 6 have looked to maybe package that pick with one of their young wings like a DeAndre Hunter or a Cam Reddish, but so far nothing's come about. The Detroit Pistons at 7, they really like Lamelo Ball. They could look to get into number 2. The New York Knicks, they like Obi Toppin, they like Ball, they like James Wiseman as well. They could move up from 8. That's a team you call. The Wizards aren't set at staying at 9, and the Suns are a team that might be looking to trade out of the lottery altogether. Now, when you look at the end of the lottery, these are teams that I don't expect the Warriors to be in contact with. The Spurs don't really have much to offer outside of 11, maybe Aldridge and DeJounte Murray. No from the Warriors there. The Kings, they're the Kings. They're not going anywhere. And the Pelicans at 13, maybe it's interesting. Boston at 14 with their slew of picks could offer a fun package, but I think the end of the lottery is a little too far for the Warriors. Now, if Golden State was looking to trade down, I think it's going to be for one of these 5 players. I think they're trading down with the assumption that one of these guys is going to be available. We know they were blown away with the Deni Avdija workout. I think you still have to stay in the top 5 if you want him. Isaac Okoro is by far the best defender in this draft. He's a guy that I think the Warriors could have their eyes on to kind of help fill out their starting 5 alongside Clay and Steph. Tyrese Halliburton is a guy who worked out for them, who I think will go in that 4 to 10 range, potentially as high as 4, but not slipping past the top 10. Devin Vassell is a guy who the Warriors really, really like, but they could trade to the end of the lottery to get him. Same with Saddiq Bey, who has a bit of a wider range than the rest of these guys. I think he will go in the lottery when it's all said and done, but at the same time, I could see this guy falling all the way to 18, 19, or even 20 out of Villanova. Now, you saw all the lottery picks that I listed up there. You got the Timberwolves at number 1, all the way down to the Celtics at 14. But what do you think is the absolute lowest the Warriors should trade down to? Let me know in the comment section, 1 through 14, the lowest they should trade. Or maybe you're like, no, just trade all the way to the bottom of the first round. I'm fine. Go as low as you want. It's like limbo. What's the furthest you would go down if you were the Golden State Warriors that were looking to trade out of the number 2 pick? Now, here's one that CBS Sports kicked around. They didn't have them trading too far down, but it is at least an enticing offer, if you ask me. You get the number 3 pick, so you only move 1 spot down. And if you move down, you have all the leverage in the world to ask whatever you want from the opposing team. And in this case, that's the Charlotte Hornets, who have their eyes set on James Wiseman. So they are willing to give up the number 3 pick and Miles Bridges, who was a first-round pick, a lottery pick just a couple of years ago, and could really help out the depth of this Warriors team. So what I threw together here is a potential lineup of what the Warriors might look like if they did do this deal with the Hornets that CBS Sports proposed. Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Kevon Looney, or Marquise Chris, whoever you want there, and Draymond Green. That's your starting five. It's set in stone. You know who you're rolling with into camp. However, if they go down to number 3, I think Lamelo Ball is still going to be available despite reports of him potentially going number 1. And then you also get to fill up your bench with a guy like Miles Bridges and potentially whoever you take in the middle of the second round. So they're not sold on selling that pick away yet. But if they are, and if the Hornets call up and say, hey, we'll give you Bridges or maybe even Malik Monk plus number 3, I'm doing it like that. I think it is an easy pick because that way it takes the pressure off of which of those top 3 prospects they would take. And then you still get a top guy like LaMelo Ball, maybe Anthony Edwards, heck, maybe even Onyeka Okongwu. But if the Hornets are trading up, they're probably trading up to get James Wiseman. Now, I listed out my 5 guys, including Deni Avdija, Devin Vassell, Saddiq Bey, Isaac Okoro, all those elite players. Name one of those guys, or one of any guy that is in the draft that you really like, that you'd like to see the Golden State Warriors trade down for. So not a guy they would take at 2, but a guy they would take more to that 5 to 14 range. Whoever it may be, shout it out in the comments section. And to give you time to do that, we're going to let this YouTube ad play so you can watch that while you type your answer in the comments. One guy they could potentially trade down for is Onyeka Okongwu out of USC, but they might not be able to trade that far down because Brian Windhorst is reporting that he has moved into the top 3 to 5 of this draft. To which I say, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus, because he deserves to be a top 5 pick in this draft. He has all the skills needed of a modern-day NBA center, and I believe he is a much safer pick than James Wiseman out of Memphis. And I know you may think I'm crazy, but if you've watched Chat Sports for a little while, you've seen this graphic on screen before. Their numbers through their first 3 games in college, which, by the way, James Wiseman only played 3 games in college, are eerily similar. This does not even show the assists per game, which Onyeka Okongwu is better at passing out of the high post, out of the mid post, and even out of the low post than James Wiseman ever was and likely ever will be. Now, I like James Wiseman. I still think he's a top 5 prospect. I still think he's one of the best centers in this draft. But Okongwu is safer because he is more NBA ready. You know what you're going to get out of him. Yes, maybe James Wiseman has a higher ceiling. That doesn't mean you take him over the better player right now for a team with championship aspirations. But if you are going for any kind of big man, potentially it's Onyeka Okongwu, potentially it's James Wiseman. Maybe they trade down and they go for Obi Toppin out of Dayton, the power forward. Maybe they go with Aleksej Pokusevski if they want to go for the kind of home run pick that's really not NBA ready right now, or you want a power forward like Precious Achiuwa. But I say get Onyeka Okongwu on the Golden State Warriors. If you want a guy that's like Bam Adebayo, that is going to be like Bam Adebayo, take Onyeka Okongwu. James Wiseman has a higher ceiling. I'll say it right now. He could be better than Okongwu in the long run. But Wiseman is also a guy that could be a backup center in the league for a long time if everything doesn't go his way. So if the reports are true from Brian Windhorst that Onyeka Okongwu has moved into the top 3 to 5 of this draft, I think the Warriors should be one of the teams that is definitely interested in trading for him or just drafting him second overall. But maybe disagree, and that's fine because I think both these big men are going to be great. In fact, I think both of them could be maybe all-star talent. That might be a bit of a stretch right now, but we're at least nearing that range for both these guys. But if you had to pick one for the Golden State Warriors, which one would you pick? Type JW for James Wiseman or type your double O's like SpaghettiOs for Onyeka Okongwu. I'd be typing OO, but I understand if you type JW. Now, if you're a Warriors fan and you want to go into the games in December, you're going to have to wear a face mask, and you might as well wear one that has your Golden State Warriors logo on it. Go to chatsports.com/NBA mask where they're coming out with new styles and new colors every single day for your Golden State Warriors. You can get 1 packs of 2. This 3-pack is available as well. All of them are machine washable. All of them are available on Fanatics. So go to chatsports.com/NBA mask. Pick yours up today. Let's get into our final Warriors-based rumor on today's show, and this one is all about Lamelo Ball, of course, who played in the NBL this last year. And there are reports coming out that the Warriors might take Lamelo Ball if he gets past the number 1 pick that belongs to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, there are both people on the pro ball and anti-ball side of the thing, and we'll talk about that quote here in just a minute. But my biggest question is, number 1, does LaMelo Ball go number 1, or is he going to be able to fall to the Warriors at number 2? My second biggest question, especially for the Warriors, is are the Warriors just going to take him to trade him later, much like they did with signing D'Angelo Russell? And in that case, I don't hate it, because I do think at number 2, LaMelo Ball is the second most talented player in this draft. I think Anthony Edwards is your best player. I think LaMelo Ball probably has an even higher ceiling than Anthony Edwards, but right now, Edwards is the better player. But, I mean, you look at his stats in the NBL, and they don't really wow you. They're not eye-popping. Had he played in college, maybe these numbers would look a little bit different, but not a great shooter at 25%. He had a funky-looking jump shot that still has something left to be desired, and had nearly a triple-double. 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 17 points. Best passer in this draft. Now, here's where this rumor is coming from. It's Jonathan Wasserman out of Bleacher Report. Says that there was a source that told him there's a rumor circulating that the Warriors ownership could pressure the front office to select LaMelo Ball if James Wiseman is gone. Another source close to Golden State indicates that there are both pro-ball and anti-ball voices inside the front office. Now, if the Warriors stay at 2 and James Wiseman goes number 1, and the Warriors are like, we don't care about Onyeka Okongwu, we want the best player available, they should take LaMelo Ball. And if they do that, their bench immediately gets a little bit better. You can put LaMelo Ball on the bench, or you can bring him off into the starting lineup, or maybe they're trading down with the Hornets, and you see Miles Bridges in that on the bench as well. I think there are a lot of different options for the Warriors here, and I do like LaMelo Ball. But here's the thing. If you're going for need, if you're this Warriors team and you're like, we want to win right now, we want to win as soon as possible, then LaMelo Ball is probably not the answer. But if you want to take the player that's going to bring the most back in a trade package, I think LaMelo Ball is the answer. So I think Warriors fans and front office members that are on the pro ball side might be the right way to go. Now, with that number 2 pick, let's assume obviously 2 of these 3 guys are going to be available. Which one would you most like the Warriors to take? Type A for Anthony Edwards, J for James Wiseman, L for LaMelo Ball. Let me give you a quick breakdown of each. If you want to go with the highest ceiling, it's LaMelo Ball. If you want to go based on need, it's James Wiseman. If you want to go on the most talented player right now, type your A for Anthony Edwards. So let me know which one you got, and make sure you subscribe to our Warriors channel, because this offseason, it's going to be, hey, we'll use a little pun here for LaMelo Ball. It's going to be balls to the wall crazy if you're a Warriors fan. So make sure you subscribe, hit those notifications, and Warrior fans, if you're not following me on Twitter, go give me a follow at Jimmy_Crowther.